Here.
McQuaid.
Here.
McCelnay.
Here.
Siliano. Lamachansky. Here. Mayor McHale.
Here.
Do you want a motion?
Okay. Motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Offered by Councilman McQuaid, seconded by Councilwoman Lemachansky. All in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Review of consent agenda items. All items with an asterisk are considered to be non-controversial by the council and will be approved by one motion. There may be further discussion prior to the vote upon request of a member of the public or a council member. Also, any item may be removed for further discussion or for roll call vote, in which case the item will be removed and considered in its normal sequence as part of the general order of business.
All right. Our resolutions this evening are Resolution 09-114, the approval of St. Mary's off-premise 50/50 raffle, ID 109-1-471 RL-297. Resolution 09-115, approval of St. Mary's Carnival, ID 10-1-471 RL-298. Resolution 09-116, approval of St. Mary's on-premises 50/50 cash raffle, ID 109-14-71 RL-299. Resolution 09-117, appointment of Julianne Rainey as alternate register. Resolution 09-118, support of Troops Day, April 19, 2009. Resolution 09-1119, change order number 1 for Brook Street parking lot project. Resolution 09-120, appointment of a title search and insurance company for the NJEIT Phase 2 project. Resolution 09-1221, approval of Dumont Elks Lodge 25-3 off-premise 50/50 raffle, ID 109-6-33628 RL-300. And lastly, Resolution 09-122, endorsement of Vantage Health System Burton County Community Development Grant Project. And I have a motion to move the agenda. Offered by Councilman Manna, seconded by Councilwoman Lemachansky. Any discussion from the governing body at this time on any of these resolutions? Seeing and hearing none, can I have a motion to open up to the public for comment on the consent agenda only? If you have comments on other portion of the agenda or in general, I expect that you hold them until the appropriate time. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Offered by Councilman McQuaid.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Manna. All in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? At this time, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question or comment regarding the consent agenda items only, Resolution 09-114 through Resolution 09-122, I ask that you step forward at this time. Hearing and seeing no one on the consent agenda items, can I have a motion to close?
So moved.
Offered by Councilman McQuaid.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Casper. All in favor? Any additional discussion from the governing body at this time on the consent agenda for April 7, 2009? Hearing and seeing none, we have a motion offered by Councilman Manna, seconded by Councilwoman Lemachansky. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Casper.
Yes.
Manna.
Yes.
McQuaid.
Yes.
McCelnay.
Yes.
Lamachansky. Yes.
Next portion of our agenda this evening is the reading of several second readings on ordinances. Okay, our second reading this evening on ordinance number 1379, an ordinance limiting the hours of use for the walking path in Memorial Park, which is directly affects our summer recreation program. Can I have a motion to waive formal reading? Offered by Councilman Manna. Second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Lemachansky. Can I have all in favor? I have a motion to open any discussion from the council at this time. Hearing and seeing none, I have a motion to open up to the public.
So moved.
Offered by Councilman Manna, seconded by Councilwoman Lemachansky. All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, the microphone is open for ordinance number 1379 only. I ask that you step forward and state your names and address for the record. Seeing and hearing no one, can I have a motion to close to the public?
So moved.
Offered by Councilman McQuaid,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Nana. All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt on second reading?
So moved.
Offered by Councilman Nana,
Second.
seconded by Councilman McQuaid. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Casper,
No.
Manna,
Yes.
McQuaid,
Yes.
McCollum,
Yes.
Donachensky. Yes.
Thank you. Second reading for ordinance number 1380, bond ordinance providing for open parks improvements, providing appropriations of $600,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $289,000 of bonds and or notes to the borough for payment for the cost of said improvements authorized to be undertaken in and by the borough of Dumont in the county of Bergen in the state of New Jersey. Motion to waive formal reading.
So moved.
Offered by Councilman Casper,
Second.
seconded by Councilman McQuaid. All in favor?
Aye.
I have discussion from the governing body at this time. Seeing and hearing none, this is a matching grant that we received from the Bergen County Open Space Trust Fund. And for the record, I am a member of that committee and recuse myself from the issue on the original vote at the county. Motion to open up to the public.
So moved.
Offered by Councilman McQuaid,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Casper. All in favor?
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, if you'd like to comment only on ordinance number 1380, the appropriation of $600,000 for park improvements, I ask you to step forward at this time. Seeing and hearing no one, can I have a motion to close?
So moved.
Offered by Councilman Nana, seconded by Councilman Donachensky. All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt on second reading?
So moved.
Offered by Councilman Nana,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Donachensky. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Casper,
Yes.
Manna,
Yes.
McQuaid,
Yes.
McCollum,
Yes.
Donachensky. Yes.
Ordinance number 1381, ordinance creating the position of municipal housing liaison for the purposes of administering the Borough of Dumont's affordable housing program pursuant to the Fair Housing Act. Motion to waive the formal reading.
So moved.
Offered by Councilman Casper,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Nana. All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion from the governing body at this time. Seeing and hearing none, can I have a motion to open up to the public on ordinance number 1381.
So moved.
Offered by Councilman McQuaid,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Nana. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're open to the public for ordinance number 1381. If you'd like to say something, please step forward.
Oh, I'll step forward.
For the record.
Hi, man, you just don't keep that for me. I'm just happy to, should I stand in front of you?
Please state your name and address for the record,
That
sir.
would be Timothy Hickey, 165 Randolph Avenue, Dumont, New Jersey. Like I said, I just had an opportunity to be here this evening, my son's upstairs.
Ordinance number 1381, the creation of a municipal housing liaison.
Explain it a little bit?
Sure. Pursuant to the Fair Housing Act of the State of New Jersey, the Borough of Dumont must create and fill the position of a liaison for the purposes of ensuring that the borough's affordable housing program meets the state minimum requirements. So basically, it's more bureaucratic and procedural position, no different than the beginning of the year when we had an affirmative action officer. There are a number of different examples you can point to, but basically, it's the creation of a position in the borough's ordinances that ensures that the Fair Housing Act is fully implemented and administered.
So, simply, it's from my experience, just the individual that I call in regards to real estate and housing.
Exactly.
For every municipality.
Exactly, and it's just.
Just want to clarify.
Yeah, and every municipality is required to have one.
All right, I'll stand up here in a few minutes.
Thanks. Anyone else? Motion to close to the public. Offered by Councilman Donachensky, seconded by Councilman Nana. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt on second reading.
So moved.
Offered by Councilman McQuaid,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Nana. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Casper,
Yes.
Manna,
Yes.
McQuaid,
Yes.
McCollum,
Yes.
Donachensky. Yes.
Authorization, ordinance number lots 1 and 3 in block 908 on the tax map of the Borough of Dumont to effectuate the reconfiguration of the Milford and Virginia Avenue intersection with Washington Avenue. These are the remaining rights of way so that the county can move forward with reconfiguring Washington, Virginia, and Milford Avenues. Can I have a motion to waive formal reading?
So moved.
Offered by Councilman Casper,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Manis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion from the council at this point?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Just, I understand what it's for, going forward with this intersection. I just want to make sure, that I know our lawyer has been working on it with the families about getting, to be able to get these properties in easement areas. Have we gotten all of them so far? Are we still, down the road, I want to see maybe somebody throw a little cog in the wheel and all of a sudden we're stuck at this
It's a good
intersection.
question, Ken. Good question.
Yeah, I can report that I have had negotiations for an actual agreement. We can't have the easements executed and recorded until after this legislation is finalized and there's a 20-day estoppel period. In most of the cases, we're paying a fixed fee of $10 per square foot in the easement area. On a couple of them, namely 273 Washington, as well as 8 New Milford, we're bargaining for exchange rather than payment. And we have agreements from everybody with the exception of 308 Washington, which is actually the smallest parcel, and I'm confident that we won't have any difficulty getting. What I was planning to do is try and have one evening where everybody would come in, execute their easement deeds. We'd get them all done at once, and then I could have them all recorded simultaneously with the county clerk, and that way there would be no questions or issues. I can also report that the county, I believe, has had 2 readings of the ordinance to discontinue their use of Virginia and New Milford Avenues, and those are ultimately going to be vacated back to owners on those streets. So I'm very pleased to report that it's a big undertaking, but it's going along in lockstep with the counties and frankly the parish's plans.
The only other question I have is this 8 New Milford, is this the house next to the dentist?
No, that is the dentist's office.
But are we any property two in front of his building? Why would we
We
buy
are.
the land?
We are. As a matter of fact, that was something I was going to discuss in the executive session, but I have been in touch with their attorney, and I'm working out an arrangement where they will donate the easement in exchange for a credit against a purchase price of the vacated property in Wilmington.
No.
Thank you. Why, therefore, we're taking land from them on the Washington?
On the Washington side, we need.
Or the Milford?
Okay.
In exchange for, we're giving them more on New Milford than we're taking on Washington.
Right.
What we're going to do is an offset of the 132 times $10, $1,320 against the purchase price, and then I'm in the process of making arrangements for that.
Yeah, I was just thinking, the Milford, I wasn't thinking in Washington on the side. Yeah, I see what widening.
But they get the land on the New Milford side because the road will
Right.
turn to the right.
The same thing will happen over on Virginia on this southeast corner of the intersection as well, but we don't have to address that at this time because the vacation of that property won't happen until after the construction is completed, and we don't need any of their property on Washington, so that's the project we're going to do.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Council, I have just one other question, with regard to the acquisition, reallocation of property. The property in the corner of Virginia and Washington, has the homeowner and the borough come to an agreement with access to the property?
The one next door to the borough property? Yeah, yes, we have, and that was actually part of the second reading, there's an additional paragraph, and it's going to be a similar situation where it's going to the dental office. The borough is going to convey a 675-foot, what will essentially be a driveway over Virginia Avenue entrance, the easternmost portion of that property, which is lot 29, in exchange, direct exchange for 433 square feet that the borough is requesting on Washington Avenue. And that was quite frankly a very, it was a little bit of a trick
record, once these easements are deeded and everything is filed, the county anticipates going to bid in May. And once that bid is awarded, hopefully an immediate start date in July for the construction of the new intersection.
Mr. Mayor, is the utilities, are they going to be as proactive as the county, the borough, and the residents in this? In realigning
I'm going to defer to Mr. Perkins on that.
Yeah, there've been a number of meetings with, Nedley Engineering, who's working on behalf of the county with regard to that project. With the utility, PSCG has been very proactive on it. In fact, they were there, I believe it was the beginning of last week, doing some survey work. So it is ongoing, and they're supposed to be right on track.
the local over?
They're gonna put, the utilities that they have to do, of course, the intersection are gonna be below. The only outstanding issue right now, my understanding is something we brought up to the county, was Verizon has a above ground panel at that location, and how that's going to be addressed, I don't know, but I know it's being worked on by the engineers.
I believe we have 13 poles that are being
Yeah.
Motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Offered by Councilman McQuaid,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Castro. All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're on a second reading of ordinance number 1382. If you have a question or comment, I ask that you step forward and act it. Seeing and hearing none, then a motion to close.
So moved.
Offered by Councilman Adam,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Castro. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt on second reading.
So moved. Second.
Offered by Councilman Adam, seconded by Councilman McQuaid. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Casper?
Yes.
Manna?
Yes.
McQuaid?
Yes.
Trombley?
Yes.
Van Trump? Yes.
Thank you. Okay, next. Okay. Our next item would be the introduction of 09-123 of the 2009 municipal. I don't have that.
1383.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Ordinance number 1383, calendar year 2009 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap limit as pursuant to NJSA 48:4-45-14. Motion to waive formal reading.
So moved.
Offered by Councilman McQuaid,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Zamichowski. All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion from the council at this time?
Can you explain this a little further?
Or Bob.
Robert, would you like to say? We have the CFO provide testimony.
Well, the other CFO, he
Yeah,
said
sorry.
that, you might be able to.
Terry, why don't you step
Better
forward?
than I would be able to explain it. It's
If you could step forward to the
tricky, but it's
microphone
not true.
and provide testimony on ordinance number 1383. State your name and title for the record.
Terry Jones, CFO. This ordinance allows us to go up to 3.5% increase of the total appropriation inside the cap. Inside the cap is usually administration, police, finance, tax, public works, insurance. Every year it changes, they take some items out and some items in. But normally you're only allowed to go 2.5% on the appropriations, and this allows us to go to 3.5. The inflation rate is more than that, it was over 4%. So that just allows us to go to 3.5% increase on those appropriations.
And you can build in the surplus then.
Yes. Whatever is in excess of the, whatever we spend that's less than the 3.5%, we're allowed to put that into a cap then and use that another year.
Councilman Casper, do you have any further
No, that
comments?
was it.
Any further questions of the table at this time? Motion to adopt on first reading.
So moved.
Offered by Councilman McQuaid,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Manna. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Casper,
Yes.
Manna,
Yes.
McQuaid,
Yes.
Latome,
Yes.
Demonte.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, now on to the budget. All right, general order of business, we have 09-123, it's the introduction of the 2009 municipal budget. I guess we need a motion at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Offered by Councilman McQuaid, seconded by Councilwoman Zemichansky. Councilman McQuaid, if you're the finance chair, would you like to speak to the budget as it is being introduced only?
Okay. Well, I also, this year was probably one of the toughest years because of the way.
Every year is a tough year, Bob.
This year was especially tough. I do want to thank Councilman Maddox and Councilwoman Ellen Zemichansky. They're on the committee with me, and we've worked, I would say, over 50 hours sitting here, along with John Terry, our CFO, and Gary Vinci, our auditor. We've sat hours upon hours going through the budget and the process. It started, of course, as we say, from last year, taking last year's figures, then looking at this year, see what was spent, where we could cut, if we had to add. Then we were done with that, then we sat there and looked at what the number would be, dollar amount that would come out to the residents, and then we looked to cut even more. And, John, do you know exactly how much we cut from the beginning, by any chance, a rough estimate, from the 400,000?
Between 380 and 4.
So from the original, after we got done with the budget this year, from how it stood from last year, then we cut another 400,000 out of the budget.
Right.
And, this is where we've got it down, we're trying to get to bare bones here. It comes out to about, right now, about $115 more per year per household. You know, excess of the $382,000, which is about $9 a month, a little over $9 a month. And, you know, introduce and see how we go. If we have to, we'll go back to the drawing board again and, keep plugging away at it. And I know we did get something came in today for revenue, that we can add to it. There's always some kind of grants coming in that we can add. Sometimes they come in late in the year, and we can't add them yet until they come in. And that usually drops the budget down a few, a dollar or two here and there. So this is where we are tonight. And again, I do want to thank everybody on my committee. They worked very hard this year, the hardest. I've been on 6 years, and it's the hardest we've worked on this budget.
Councilman Manna.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Along with Councilman McQuaid and Councilman Zemichansky, this was not an easy budget to bring in. There were a number of questions that we had to ask ourselves and kind of focus on. One, looking at the economic situation that residents face in their own personal lives. And keeping that in mind, not impacting in a negative way the services that the borough provides to the residents. Also keeping in mind that we have a very good staff here in the borough. We didn't want to negatively impact any of those people going to the nth degree of making it layoffs. And providing the level of service that the residents of Dumont have come to expect from the borough. So those are all the underlying factors that we looked at in addressing this budget. To say that we've turned every stone is an understatement. I think that there are lot of sacrifices that not only the residents make, but also our employees and looking at how we can do more with less has become the cornerstone of this budget. And as Councilman Boyd said, you know, we're still looking at different aspects to help address this budget. One of the things that we looked at, and I'm sure John will talk about this a little later, was the offer by the state of New Jersey to defer pension payments. And at the outset, that sounded like a very, very good opportunity for the borough to save a tremendous amount of money, pushing over $400,000. However, when we started looking at the details and tearing into the crunching of the numbers, the actual cost of this borough over 15 years would have been 2.5 times what the actual cost of funding pensions in 2009. So what does that mean? It means that one of the pensions, which was $105,000, would cost the borough $225,000 over 15 years. And the other pension, which was over $300,000, would cost the borough over $760,000 over 7 years. That's 8.75% charge the borough every year for deferment of those, that 1 year deferment of the pension. So even though the state thought it was a wonderful thing, it was a wonderful thing for the state, and not the municipality. So after a lot of number crunching and looking at if we can do this and whether we should do this, overwhelmingly the decision was not to do it, because it would have been too hard to spend $700,000 for $300,000 cost, 209. So, that's just one of the number of aspects that we had looked at and made decisions on. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Councilman Boccia?
Okay, one of the things that we didn't do this year is go out for extraordinary aid, which we knew that after the amounts we got the last few years, there was no way we were going to receive any. In the previous years, there were about 30 or more towns that had gotten it. This year, there were 8. So the chances really would have been slim to nothing. And it's been, I guess, a couple of years now where I go to department head meetings, John, and telling all the employees to really bare minimum with their budgets. And I have to say the employees have been wonderful. Nothing over the top that anyone's going for. And this was a tough year, and we really cut as much as we can. And just hope that we did the best we could. That's it.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Anyone else from the governing body?
Mr. Mayor, when I went through it and I saw that it was going to be $150 increase and last year was $112, I was shocked they could keep it this low, knowing what we've been doing this year and all the projects that we're going through every day. I do commend them. I never thought we'd keep it this low this year.
Well, actually, that's a very good point. Remember, we're not adopting the budget this evening, we're introducing the budget. There are a number of other factors still in play. For instance, last year, we introduced at 156, found out that the state was going to reduce our rate to X amount, so we shot up to 196, and then finally adopted at 112. The fact that we're starting out at 115 is really...
Exactly.
It's a good starting place, actually. And obviously, there are a number of factors still yet to be weighed and considered. Obviously, we probably will not adopt the budget that we normally do until the summer months. Borough Administrator Perkins, do you have anything else, Councilman?
No, just that, I know the school budget is higher than this one.
Yes.
I'm not mistaken, but they're not.
Yes. And the voters will decide if they're
Fairly,
with
fairly low there.
Mr. Perkins, I know you would like to make a few remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've been inputting on borough budgets now for 15 years. This is my 15th year. To be honest with you, and I think I said this last year, I probably said it the year before, I've never seen, and I'm not blowing smoke on other contracts, so they're going to pay me no matter what, but I've never seen, I've never seen a finance committee, to be honest with you, so intent on trying to find ways to cut. A lot of this goes to the department heads as well, because over the last couple of years, we've had really lean budgets, and the department heads have seen fit to keep it such that we've had about the same amount of money go to surplus, over $1 million each year. But this year is extraordinary because of not only the national circumstances, but what we find the state in, and state cuts in aid. And you're right, the governor did throw up the availability of deferring some of these pensions at 8.5%, which nobody seems to get anywhere anymore. But it would have been, if we would have deferred the whole thing and brought in the tax rate at about $10 to $15 a household, we would have been spending for the next 12 years approximately 1 tax point just to make up the interest. And that's before we start paying any of the bills around here. So I applaud the mayor and council for taking a stand and not deferring. In addition to that, not only to the committee, but the number of conversations during the process, the budget process with the mayor, who's extremely busy and keeping in touch with members of the committee and the CFO and myself, really helped the situation go a long way. In addition to that, there's been an awful lot said by the governor and the state about furloughs. Mandatory furloughs for some, voluntary furloughs for others. I presented to the entire borough staff a few weeks ago the concept of voluntary furloughs, and we had 130 days volunteered by our staff, which came to over $30,000 in savings, and this is voluntary furloughs. We had from 5 days down to 1 day, and a number of these people were DPW people. So I applaud the staff for giving back, and again, it was voluntary, and that's gone a long way to help us as well, over $30,000. So for those towns and the state who are having difficulty trying to get this thing through, perhaps if they would have presented it to their staff in a more appropriate way without having them read about it in the newspaper, they would have got the same result. But again, I just want to applaud the members of the committee, the chairman, Bob McQuaid, for doing a great job. And I know as early as this morning, we were still talking about some issues with regards to the budget, so I'm sure there'll be some additional cuts in the future. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, and that's why, again, this is a budget introduction, not an adoption. One of the things we like to do after we do a budget reduction is to schedule a number of public meetings, of which 3 members of the finance committee and myself, since the quorum is present, meet to discuss exactly what line items have been reduced, the percentage of which they have been reduced, where we experience growth in line items. For instance, we know for a fact that our liability insurance and our health insurance increased dramatically, as well as our pensions, our utilities, our tax collection decreased, though it did not know that the revenue increased, which is good. One of the things that I am happy about this year is that the state, even though they are facing their own fiscal situations, only reduced our aid by 2.5%, which is the equivalent of about $40,000 to the general tax fund, which is we did a lot better than some other communities did, and some other communities did better than we did, but still, last year alone, the $112 increase, $36 was from the state decrease itself. We will not experiencing those type of numbers this year, but once again, like any business, whether it be your home or your business, we are experiencing growth within the inflationary rate. So, more to come. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmembers Cashman?
Yes.
Manis?
Yes.
McQuaid?
Yes.
Bartholomew?
Yes.
Vanacek?
Yes.
Can I have a motion to open up to the public at this time?
So moved.
Offered by Councilman Casper, seconded by Councilman McQuaid. All in favor?
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're open to the public. If you have questions regarding anything on the agenda or in general, I ask that you state your name and address for the record. And, Mr. Carter. could just state your name and address for the record.
Certainly. My name is Walt Beveridge, 71 Hillcrest Drive, Dumont. Last week, while walking my dogs south on Pearl Street, the car parked on the northbound side of the street. I witnessed a near head-on collision. The white minivan was traveling south and moved out into the center of the street to avoid me and my dogs. Another car, a Mustang, was coming down Hamilton Ave at speed and came around the corner onto Charles. Since there were cars parked along the side of the road, he too moved into the center and therefore came head-on at the white minivan. Thankfully, he was able to lock his brakes and narrowly prevent a head-on collision. The woman in the minivan was flustered and pulled to the side of the road. As I walked up, I came to the side and asked if she was okay. She said she was fine, but she couldn't believe how close they had come. As I looked in the back seat, and there were two small children sitting there. She was clearly shaken and upset. This dangerous condition can be exacerbated at various times of the year when the road has lines of leaves awaiting pickup or snowfall at the side of the road, requiring a person walking their dogs to move further out to the traffic pattern. This is not the first time we brought this safety issue to the council's attention. November 2008, while walking my dog on East Linden Ave and avoiding traffic, my dogs were approximately 3 foot into the park as measured from the curb. Remember, there are no sidewalks around the park. I was stopped by the Dumont policewoman. All this was against the borough ordinance to allow my dogs in the park, even to avoid oncoming traffic. December 2008, we brought this to the executive council meeting. I thought there was an oversight that could be rectified by simply amending the ordinance. Surely, a 3-foot rule would allow members of the community with dogs to remain safely out of traffic that moves through the area at speed. Somehow, the community was led to believe through misinformation given to local papers that the council was considering an amendment that would allow dogs to roam the parks. This was never the intent of the change. However, the proposed change to the ordinance was voted down by council members Carl Hanna, Mr. Reclume, and Ellen Zimchensky. Forget my pronunciation, I apologize. In conclusion, the serious condition continues to exist. The use of Memorial Park for high school baseball and the increased traffic this brings only exacerbates the already dangerous situation. I believe that unless this condition can be remedied, a serious accident will occur involving 2 motor vehicles, or worse yet, a pedestrian in a vehicle. This would expose the borough's taxpayers to litigation based on the failure of the council to act upon a serious problem that has been repeatedly brought to their attention. I would also like to question the reason why Green Acres funding from the state of New Jersey was used to provide interior pathways in the park while neglecting the basic lack of perimeter sidewalks. And for the council to revisit this issue immediately, the summer around the corner, the increase in children and families using the park to believe an accident is inevitable. Safety for all of Dumont citizens, including dog owners, should be the council's priority. I'd like to see something done with this issue. Last time I don't think we've done justice.
The corner of Charles Street
And Hamilton,
That's where.
right up top there, they come around the line, and they're allowing them to park all down that road.
Yeah.
They come around.
I couldn't remember, is there a 4-way stop at Hamilton? Would anyone else like to speak this time? Seeing no, one, can I have a motion to close? Offered by Councilman Nana, second by Councilman Vanchempaly, all in favor? Thank you. Can I have a motion to recess to executive chambers to continue with our regularly scheduled executive meeting?
So moved.
Offered by Councilman Nana, second by